So this evening I shall speak to you about Sanatana Goswami. When he resigned from his ministership in the government of Nawab Hussain Shah in Bengal and joined Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his movement of Kṛṣṇa consciousness. So, there's a long history how he resigned. He was the trustee of the government. Formerly, although the government was modern, the best Hindu personality was engaged to take charge of the ministership. Even in Akbar's time, the same principle was that Maharaj Jai Singh was in Aurangzeb, he was a very rigid Mohammedan. Still, his principal minister was Maharaj Jai Singh. Similarly, Sanatana Goswami and his brother Gubu Goswami, they accepted the government service, coming of a very respectable Brahmin family, but they were rejected by the Brahmin community because they accepted the service among. Formerly, the Hindu society was very strict. Brahmin would not accept anyone's service. So Sanatana Goswami, after joining Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he left Bengal and when Srila Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was residing in Benares to deliver the Mahavali Sannyasis, at that time he reached Varanasi. So, after he was clean shaved, this is one of the items of our movement. If one wants to be initiated, he must be clean shaved. Sanatana Goswami was clean shaved, and after becoming a regular Vaishnava, then he is asking like this: Tabe Sanatana Prabhu Charane Dhariya Daina Vinati Kare Dante Trina Loiya. So he approached Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in a very humble manner. That is the way of approaching the Guru. The Vedic instruction is Kalviganartham Sagurumeva Avigache Samitpani Srotriyam Brahmanis. Samitpani, taking that sword brass kusha, is called in Sanskrit, it's called kusha. So Sanatana Prabhu approached him very humbly. That is the way. In the Bhagavad Gita it is said, Tad vidhi pranipate na pariprasne na sivaya Upadeshanti tad jnanam jnanina tattvadarshina. We must approach a bona fide guru for enlightenment. And Samipani Sruti, one who has received knowledge by hearing, not by speculating. Nowadays it has become a pattern to speculate. The very understanding, no, by hearing. You have to approach the right person and hear. Therefore the whole Vedic literature is called Shruti. One has to learn very intelligently by hearing from the authority. The same example we find in Bhagavad Gita, in the battlefield where time is very valuable, still Arjuna is hearing from Kṛṣṇa. Kṛṣṇa is instructing and Arjuna is hearing. So this hearing process is our Vedic process. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has recommended, according to, of course, Vedic injunction, sthane sthita sudhivatam tanuvang manovi. You haven't got to change your position. It is not necessary that you have to take sannyas from the Grihastha life. You have to give up your occupation. No, that is not an important thing. The important thing is, this verse was submitted by Lord Brahma. Jnani prayasam udapasa namantari va sanamakaritang bhavadiya vartam sthane sthita sudhigatang tanuvang manohi ji prayasa ritopi ritapasista. If you want to understand God, that is the business of human life. Human life is specialty. That is the charms, because we are in the cycle of birth and death, changing, migrating from one body to another. This is our position. So, except human body, lower than the human body, we can understand how they are suffering. Suppose a tree, here we are sitting so comfortably. A few yards off from this place there is a tree, and it is standing for thousands of years. Is not that punishment? If I tell Mr. Such and such, you stand up here for 5 hours, you become mad. That is a sort of punishment to the children. Formerly the punishment was the teacher in the class, a naughty one, he asked, stand up on the bench. That verb, half an hour to stand up on the bench becomes a very, very intolerable pain for him. So just imagine that the tree, this is punishment, standing in one place. I saw one tree in San Francisco. They said it's 7,000 years. So, except human form of life, there are 8 million different forms of life. And there is little idea in the Darwin theory of evolution. That is only imitation of the Vedic literature, and he wanted to credit for himself. He presented it pervertedly. But actually, in the Padma Purana, the evolution theory is there. Asitim Chaturam Shaiva Lokham Stam Jiva Jati. There are 8,400,000 species of forms and Jiva-Jatishu, the living entities, they're passing through. So this is the chance, human form of life, to get out of this cycle of birth and death. Actually, this is our miserable condition. Kṛṣṇa presents this whole thing as actually miserable condition. We are trying to remove miseries and get happiness. This is called a struggle for existence. Manasthasthani indriyani prakrtisthani tadasati mamaivam sujiyo bhuta jiva lok sabha. The Bhagavad Gita, Kṛṣṇa says that these living entities, they are my part and parcel. Qualitatively as good as I am. So, the Vedanta Sutra says the living entities are God. They are meant for enjoyment. Anandamaya Vyasa, by nature, Anandamaya. So why I am put into this miserable condition? This is the question by intelligent human beings. And if we remain satisfied with the miseries of this material life, then he is no better than the cats and dogs. Sayeva Gota. So, this is intelligence. To inquire about the miserable condition of life. Kṛṣṇa, he said, Nīc jati, nīc sange patita adham, kuvishay kupe pori goainu jana. My dear sir, although I was born in Brahmin family, but now I am rejected. I am counted amongst the Mohammedans because their name was also changed, these two brothers, because they were rejected by the Brahmin community. And their association was the big jamindars, most of them Vishay, only concerned with pound selling things. So, about him it is said by Srinivasa Acharya, Tattva Turnamase Samandalapati Saning Sada Tucham. These Goswamis, they were very exaltedly posted as minister, and were associate minister means associate with big men, big businessmen, big zamindar, like that. So, Mandalapati, a big man, a Mandalapati who controls a very big circle, especially the zamindars, landholder. So, Tatra Turnam Asesa Mandalapati Sani. He gave us the association of this big men. Tatra Turnam Asesa Mandalapati Sani Sada Tuchha. Tuchha means, what is this? There is no that. So, this is not ordinary thing one can give up. But by the grace of Kṛṣṇa, by the grace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one may think of this material enjoyment very insignificant. So, he gave up the association and ox they have no problem. The birds they have no problem. And in the morning they rise up and they are certain. Somewhere there is some fruit they will eat and sleep in the top of the tree. They haven't got to make arrangement, economic development. They are already there. But it is very difficult to understand that these material necessities of life is already arranged. You cannot get more, cannot get. Suppose some of our Indian friends, they have come to this country far away. Does it mean that simply by coming here he has become millionaire? No. In Bengali it is said, যদি যাও বঙ্গে কপালে যাবে সঙ্গে. Wherever you go, your this fate will go with you. If you are meant for getting 10,000, you will never get 10,100. You will get either you remain in your country or go to hell. Destiny. This is called destiny. Therefore Shastra says, Tasyaiva heta pragati tako vida nalabhati jad bhamatam uparidata tarlabhati dukkha vadannata sukham kalena sarvatra bhavirana. That's why nobody hankers after distress. But we have experienced distress is forced upon us. So similarly, Shastra says that whatever happiness you are destined to get, wherever you remain, and you will get it by destiny. So there is no need of trying for suppressing distress and getting happiness. Don't waste your time in that way, but you try for that thing which you never got in other different forms of life. That is Kṛṣṇa consciousness. This life is meant for this purpose, to understand Kṛṣṇa and God. Or God. Yes. That is the only Atharva Dharma Jigyasa. This is meant. Not for wasting our time simply with the animal propensities. The modern civilization, modern education has no information about this. Nobody is trying to understand what is the actual aim of life. There is no such civilization. Therefore he is presenting himself, Kubishay Kupe Pori Goainu Ka. Simply in the matter of searching after false happiness, I have wasted my time. That he has said. Then he said, আপনার হিতাহিত কিছু নাহি জানি, গ্রাম্য ব্যবহারে পণ্ডিত তাই সত্য মানি. Because Brahmins in India, it is the custom is still, whatever he may be, because he is born in a Brahmin family, his address as Panditji. Panditji. So here Sanatana Goswami says, Gramma Vyavahari. Gramma means in village transaction. Actually I am not Pandit, but these villagers, my neighbors, they call me Pandit. And because they call me Pandit, I also think that I am a Pandit. I have seen it in Calcutta. One man was pulling on thela with a cigarette thread. And another man, maybe he is village man, he, Panditji Pala, and he is pulling on thela, he said, Beta Jitaro. Now this is the oh, what is the value of his Ashirvad blessing who is engaged in pulling on thela? But this is Grama Vyavahar. This is not actual fact. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by the grace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sanatana Goswami has learned it, that they call me Pandit. It is false address. I am not really Pandit. Why you are not Pandit? You are educated. You are very good scholar in Sanskrit and Farsi. And in these days, English is considered a very important subject. And actually it is. So, unless one is educated in English, he is half educated. Still, he was educated, certainly. As a Brahmin, he was educated in Sanskrit, and as government officer, he had to learn in those days, Arabic and Farsi, so he was educated. So, but he says that although they call me Pandit and or maybe I am little educated, but the difficulty is that I do not know what is the ultimate goal of life or my real position of happiness. আপনার পিতাহি কিছু নেই. Ask any learned scholar in these days, what is the ultimate goal of life? They will say, there is no particular. Let us live very happily, and after that everything is finished. I have consulted many big professors, Indian and foreign. They have no idea of the first education in the Bhagavad Gita. Tatha dehantara prapti dhirastatvanamai. There is change of body. There is already change of body. I was a child, I was a boy, I was a young man. Now the body is changed. I have got this wretched body, old man's body. So all this body, that is simple, logical. Kṛṣṇa says in the beginning, that is the first lesson of Bhagavad Gita, that dehinasmin yatha dehi kaumara yauvana jara tatha dehantara prapti dhirasatvanamai. Dehina means the proprietor of the body, that every one of us thinking, I am this body. There is no first lesson of Bhagavad Gita. First lesson only, ABC. That you are not this body. This is the first lesson. When Arjuna was talking in bodily relationship, and he accepted Kṛṣṇa as Guru, Shishya Sriham Sadimam Prapanna. There is perplexity, I cannot understand Kṛṣṇa, or Kṛṣṇa is his friend, but he accepted him Guru. Accepting Guru means, if you accept somebody Guru, then whatever he will say, you have to accept. Shishya. Shishya means one who is ruled. So if you voluntarily accept somebody, that I shall be ruled by, that is Guru. Not that I shall rule you by giving some money. Then it is not accepting Guru. Guru means, in all circumstances, Guru hitam. Brahmachari Guru kule vasam danta Guru hitam. Therefore, the first training is to live in Gurukul, to learn how to respect Guru, how to abide by the orders of Guru. So, Kṛṣṇa is Guru. Arjuna accepted Kṛṣṇa is Guru. Shishya say, I am your now disciple. Now give teaching. Then Bhagavad Gita was begun. Not before. So, teaching should not begin unless one accepts the teacher as the ultimate Guru. So, Kṛṣṇa is teaching the same thing as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will teach Sanatana Goswami, the same process. Tad vijnana tamsa guru neva vigache. So, the teacher Kṛṣṇa first of all chastised Arjuna. Asacchānanasūtastam pragyāvādāṁ savāsasi. My dear Arjuna, you are talking like a very learned scholar. But you are engaged in such a thing which is not at all narrative. Asacchānanasūtastam pragyāvādāṁ savāsasi. Gatāsum avatāsum nanusavāsasi. One who is learned, Pandit, he has no business to consider about this body. Now see, the whole world is concerned with this body. But this is condemned Jasata buddhi kunapi tithatu. Anyone who is accepting this body, which is nothing but combination of tridhatu, or you take the material elements, earth, water, air, fire, or more explicitly, the skin, blood, bone, urine, stool, you find these things. But do you think such intelligent person is created, manufactured by bone and blood and skin and urine and stool? It's common sense. It is something else, spirit soul, that they do not understand. The Sanatana Goswami is also placing that Gramba Bhavahare Pandit Tai Satya. These fools and rascals call me Panditji. And I accept, I am. But actually my position, Apunar Hita Hit Kṛṣṇa. I do not know what I am and what is the goal of my life. I am thinking of this body, and the body is finished, then everything is finished. This is my thought. So just compare. This knowledge is going on all over the world, as this body. And anyone is thinking that he is this body, he is no better than cats and dogs. The dog is also thinking like that. I am this body. Jasatma buddhi tunapetita. It is not my manufactured word. It is stated in this Shastra. Jasatma buddhi tunapetita. This body is meant of these elements. Either called earth, water, air, fire. Or you get blood, bone and so everything. If you take this combination of blood, bone, muscles and veins and urine and stool is the life, then he was no better than the cats and dogs. Sayeva Gokha. Gokha, go means cow, and Khara means ass. So the ass is also thinking like that, the cow is also thinking like that. If you are thinking like that, then you are. So one has to learn what he is. That Sanatana Goswami, কৃপা করি যদি মনে করিয়াছ উদ্ধার আপন কৃপাতে কহ কর্তব্য আমার. My Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, very kindly he went to my place and he have delivered me. So that after your visit I decided to resign from the government service and I have come to you. So you have delivered me from the pitfall of this materialistic way of life. Now tell me what is my duty. This is student, this is disciple. Approach a bona fide guru, a spiritual master, and abide by his order and do accordingly, then your life will be successful. And if you keep yourself in the darkness, that I am very rich man, I am very learned man, but unfortunately I do not know what I am. So what is the use? The Narottam Das Thakur, Vidya Kure Ki Karibe Ta. So if you do not know yourself, then what your so-called education and high family, high nationality will help you. Nature's law is different. Prakita kriyamarani gunaikarmani sarvasa. If you do not cultivate spiritual knowledge, if you remain like cats and dogs, then Prakriti, nature, will give you the cat and dog body next life. Suppose you become very big businessman and you have got nice, very big balance and so on, but by your activities you will remain like a dog mentality. Then you are going to get the body of a dog. Jana jana vapi smarana loki, tadakante kaleva. The test is at the time of death. At the time of death, if my mentality is different, so according to that mentality, I shall get the body. This is called transmigration of the soul. there is no teaching of this science throughout the whole world, and we are trying to educate people. Of course, it is very difficult to understand, but this is the science. That there is transmigration of the soul, and if we do not take care of this, then what I am going to become next life, if you simply waste your time simply on the matter of eating, sleeping, mating and defense, then we are wasting our time. This is the subject matter of Krishna consciousness. Then he asked, Kirami kane amay jare taputroy, iha nahi jani kamone hi on. So this is the proposition to the spiritual master, that one master means that actually I do not know what I am. Am I this body or something else? I am not this body. That I can understand. Because I say, when somebody asks, even a child, you ask. So you ask, my dear child, what is this? He will say, it is my finger. He will never say, I finger. What to speak of others? Every one of us will say, this is my ear, this is my nose, where is I? There is inquiry, what is I? And then there will be analysis of the body. What is that I? Everyone knows mine, but who knows I? That is education. That is being submitted by Sanatana Goswami. Kiyami kano more jape taputra. So, taputra means three kinds of miserable conditions. Adhyatmic, adhibhautik, adhidaivik. Adhyatmic pertaining to the body and mind. We sometimes have feeling some ailments in the body, mind is not in good order. This is called adhyatmic. And adhibhautik means miseries inflicted by other divinities. Just like there are mosquitoes, there are flies, there are bugs, there are other animals, or other enemies in the human society. My friend has become enemy. He is trying to give me some displeasure. So this is called adhibhautik. Adhyatmic, even nobody gives me any distress, my body will give me distress. If I cannot see it comfortably, if there is some pinching, I am feeling pain. So these things are going on. Adhyatmic, adhibhautik, adhidaivik. And other miseries inflicted by providence, just like there is no rain, excessive heat, excessive cold, famine, pestilence, earthquake, we have no control. These are adhidaivik. So we are suffering. Although we may foolishly say, if somebody asks his friend, how are you? He says, yes, everything is all right. Oh, everything is all right. You are suffering, and this is karma. He is suffering, but he will say everything is all right. A man is dying on the deathbed, and a friend comes, how are you feeling this? Yes, that I am all right. Now he is going to die, and he says, I am all right. So this is called Maya. They are suffering, but they are accepting, I am all right. Full of anxieties, always. What will happen next? So this is the position. The Sanatana Goswami is praising this plain fact that Kirami Kanamare Japetam, I do not want to suffer. So there is suffering. That's a fact. Iha nahi jani kaman. So how I can get out of this suffering, kindly give me lesson. This is human life. Go to a bona fide guru, try to understand the problems of life, what is the aim of life, how actually we can become happy. This is called Brahmajika. The Vedanta Sutta philosophy, therefore, the first instruction is Athāsa Brahma Jigyāsa. Kṛṣṇa, why? As original. If you remain silent, never ask why, answer very, then you are in the category of cats and dogs. And when this inquiry begins, Athāsa Brahma Jigyāsa, then your human life begins. Otherwise, you remain in the category of cats and dogs. If you are satisfied with all miserable condition of life, in this country, Western country, they present television simply presenting problems. That's all. You have got experience. And they are making plans how to solve this problem. This is my whole day and night and 24 hours. But actually, we are in a place with problems only. And intelligent man must inquire how to solve these problems. But they are inquiring, some of them, but not in the right channel. That should be in the, just like Arjuna had problems, whether to fight or not to fight. So he approached Kṛṣṇa. Kṛṣṇa, Sishasthiham Sadhiman Prapanam. Kṛṣṇa, I know that the problem you can make solution. Arjuna knew that Kṛṣṇa is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although he is acting as my friend, but he knew what Kṛṣṇa is, and therefore he asked. So we are in place of so many problems. Why not approach Kṛṣṇa? What is wrong there? And take Kṛṣṇa's instruction and be happy. That is Kṛṣṇa consciousness movement. We are opening centers everywhere. Take advantage of this moment and be happy. Thank you.
If anybody would like to address some questions to Divine Grace, raise your hand, stand up. Any questions?
Everything is solved.
You have a question?
Yes?
Is it possible to see Kṛṣṇa right now?
Is it possible to see Kṛṣṇa right now?
Why don't you see in your bag?
But can't I just see?
But you have no eyes to see.
Can't I see him within?
Yes.
Why? Why is it not so easy? Why can't each one of us?
Why is it so difficult to see Kṛṣṇa? Why can't each of us see him within?
You have to become qualified.
Why do I have to become qualified?
Yes.
Why?
Suppose if there is a big man before you in some big meeting, can you talk with him?
Why?
No, first of all answer this. Suppose there is a big meeting going on and some big man is present. Suppose the president is there. Can you talk with him? Why? Why you cannot talk? For talking with him, you require some qualification. It is not that it's so cheap that you talk with Kṛṣṇa immediately. Atasya Kṛṣṇa namadi napavi grahiham indriya sevan mukhehi jivhadu sayami paskutastu. So, if you accept Kṛṣṇa as the Supreme Lord, then You have to qualify yourself to talk.
By His grace, Kṛṣṇa will show you Himself to you.
Yes, if you read Kṛṣṇa book and if you believe, then you see Kṛṣṇa. He is not different from the book.
But we could read words till the cows come home. What good is that going to do?
You have to accept what you read. You can't read with an argumentative attitude, or you can't ask questions with an argumentative attitude. You never learn.
I can only accept what I experience.
What is your experience?
My experience is that I have seen Kṛṣṇa with my own eyes.
You have seen?
Yes.
That's very nice.
And it hasn't been hard.
That's nice.
I haven't had to read any words.
Oh, then you are perfect.
Are there any other questions, please?
Sit down. You are perfect.
We are all perfect.
Yes.
Give a chance to someone else,
Let
please.
someone else ask
But I must speak.
But please, you can speak afterwards. Please sit down.
But what
You have already spoken. Don't take the whole time. Let others question.
Others also want to speak. Are there any other questions, please?
How can one stop speculating?
How can we stop speculating?
Stop speculation. Don't manufacture ideas. You take what Kṛṣṇa says, then it will automatically start. Speculation, the question of speculation comes when you do not accept what Kṛṣṇa says. If you accept what Kṛṣṇa says, then there is no scope of speculation. That is our movement. They accept Kṛṣṇa's teachings as it is. Don't speculate. Then it is lost. This is our movement. Kṛṣṇa says that aham sarvasya prabhava, matta sarvam pravartata. I am the origin of everything. Everything emanates from me. If you accept, then it is all right. And if you speculate, you can do that. But our movement is they accept. Brahma means Janmadasya, the origin of everything. Here is the person, he says, aham sarvasya prabhava, matta sarvam pravartata. Accept it. Very simple thing. You are searching after who is the origin of everything. And Kṛṣṇa says, I am the origin of everything. So if you accept, your question is solved. If you don't accept, go on speculate. There is no difficulty. No difficulty is when you do not accept Kṛṣṇa in yourself. Then there is. Otherwise there is no difficulty. And then why people do not accept? And that is also explained in the Bhagavad Gita. Bonam janmanāvanti jnanavan mam brahadati. After many bad speculation, when one actually comes to the platform of knowledge, bonam janmanāvanti jnanavan mam brahadati. So, we don't find many such jnanavan. Vasudeva sarvam iti, samatma. One who accepted Vasudeva, Kṛṣṇa as everything. That kind of Mahatma is very rare to be found. It is not very ordinary thing. So anyone who has accepted Kṛṣṇa as everything, He is the greatest Mahatma. Most fortunate. And you can practically see in these foreign countries, 4 or 5 years, or at most 10 years, who never heard what is Kṛṣṇa. Now thousands, they are devotees of Kṛṣṇa. Because they have accepted Kṛṣṇa. Vasudeva Sarvamiti. Some Mahatma. You accept blindly or knowingly, the result will be the same. If you touch fire, knowingly or unknowingly, it will burn. This is the position. If you accept Kṛṣṇa as the supreme, all the Sarva Supreme, the original, then the action will be there. Sa Mahatma Sudhira. He becomes the greatest Mahatma. And what is the sign of Mahatma? Mahatma Rastuman Pratsu Devi Prakiti Masit. Bhajanti Ananda Manaso. That is Mahatma. He is under the control of Devi Prakriti. As we are controlled by this material nature, the Mahatma is controlled by the spiritual nature. And what is the sign? Bhajanti Ananda Manaso. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Krishna Krishna. This is the sign. Without any division. So these young boy, girl, they are always chanting, there you see, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Krishna Krishna. They are Mahatma. Sa Mahatma Sudhurya. Apite Sudhuracharo, Bhajati Mam Anandava, Sadhuri Vasamam. These things are there. Very simple thing. You accept Kṛṣṇa, the Supreme, you follow his instruction, you become the great Mahatma. And if you don't accept, Asaddha Dhara Purusha Dharma Shastra Parantaha Aprapo Maha Nivattanti Mittu Sansara. If you don't accept Asaddha Dhara, then he will never understand what is God, and he will be rotating in the cycle of birth and death. Mittu Sansara Bhakti. You have to accept this path. There are 2 paths. Either you accept Kṛṣṇa, go back to home, back to Godhead, or accept the path of repetition of birth and death. 2 alternatives in this human life. Now it is up to you to make a choice which way you want to go.
After, if one becomes purified, is it possible when he becomes transferred to the spiritual world that he can meet Rupa Goswami and other great...
Yes, provided you are purified, you can meet everyone. The condition is purified. Jīsāmantaratana pāpam. That is stated. That is purification. No more sinful life. Jīsāmantaratana pāpam janānam puññakarmānā. A person is always engaged in pious activities. Te dandamahan muktam bhajanti mānvi. So long one is infected with sinful activities, he cannot understand. Neither he can surrender to Kṛṣṇa. That is also explained by Kṛṣṇa. Namāra duṣkitana mūrā prapadvanti naradhava maya paritagana asuri bhava. This is the sign. And one who is free from all sinful activities, Mahatma Anustamam Prartha Devi Paditina Bhajanti Anandamanasu. This is the signs. If one is not accepting Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa is God, as the supreme. He placing himself as the supreme. There are so many rascals. I am God. So such persons are called duskriti, sinful. Murha. If one is claiming I am God, how much foolish he is, this you can consider. He is under the clutches of Maya, being kicked up by the material elect in so many ways, and he is thinking he is God. So they are duskriti, murha, naraka. That is the next. So this simple language is there in the Bhagavad Gita. There is no difficulty. If we actually accept, then our life is. Janma karma dibbam me janati tattva tatta deha punar janma naiti mameti. So we are trying our best to understand Kṛṣṇa and to make others to understand Kṛṣṇa, and therefore we have published about 82 books, big books and small books. So we request that you either accept Kṛṣṇa without any hesitation, or try to understand Kṛṣṇa by reading all these literatures, and they are being well received all over the world by big professors and other exalted persons. So you can take advantage. Thank you.
Many people have brought Dakshin and things like that. Should they bring now?
When they want to do?
I was thinking that maybe they could do it. It was a little bit too crowded for everyone to come up earlier. Perhaps we could have a kirtan and we could stay, and I could ask those devotees who brought some up